Pune is a very popular because I am connected to the university. So I am the US member of the computer science department.
Sir, he is actually from and he is from ONGC. So now we are going to start our inauguration ceremony, and Manish Rao will conduct this inauguration ceremony. Manish, come.
Hello everyone, good morning to all the respected people present over here, all the patrons who has come to the inauguration of National Conference on Depression, recent advancements in depression management. I would like to request Professor Anand Kumar, President IIHP, to come on dice. Anand Kumar sir is a distinguished and internationally recognized professor of psychology. His area of specialization includes clinical health and sports psychology. He is the president of Indian Academy of Health Psychology and former HOD and Department of Psychology, Mahatma Gandhi Kashi Vidyapith, Varanasi. He has 39 years of postgraduate teaching and 42 years of research experience. Professor Anand Kumar has been recipient of many prestigious national and international honors and awards. Now I would like to ask our second guest of honor, Professor Ramlan Chakraborty, to come and join us on dice. Dr. Ramlan Chakraborty is a full professor of information technology in the A.K. Chaudhary School of Information Technology at University of Calcutta. He is also the Dean Faculty of Engineering and Technology of this university. He is an M.Tech from the Department of Radio Physics and Electronics, University of Calcutta, and did his doctoral research at the Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. He was a postdoctoral fellow at the School of Engineering, Princeton University, USA during 2011-2012. Now I would ask Professor Sudhir Kumar Das to join us on the dice. Professor Sudhir Kumar Das is head of Chemical Engineering Department of Calcutta University. His write-up is published in many famous journals, included in chapter of books. He has completed multiple projects and delivered many invited lectures in national and international conferences and programs. Now I would like to invite Dr. Deedatta Rai sir. Dr. Deedatta Rai sir, aka Dr. Rai sir, is the Associate Professor of Psychology Research Unit of the Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. He received PhD degree in Organizational Psychology from the Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur in 1990. He completed post-graduation in psychology with specialization in abnormal psychology from Department of Psychology, University of Calcutta, 1982. Now I would like to invite Dr. Soumitra Shah Sengupta. Dr. Soumitra Shah Sengupta is health psychologist and psychotherapist at Bhaktivedanta Hospital Healthcare Center, ISHMA. She is also working as pregnancy prenatal educator, therapist, breath worker. She is the co-founder of SRI, and today's conference is brought in by her in association with SIRS IIHP. Now we will have the bouquet and memento ceremony. Deliver the bouquet and memento to Dr. Anand Kumar sir. Dr. Shomitra Shah Sengupta will offer in bouquet and memento to Dr. Ramlan Chakraborty. Now, Shomitra Shah Sengupta will offer the bouquet to Professor Sudhir Kumar Das. Now, Dr. Shomitra Shah Sengupta will offer the bouquet and memento to Professor Didar Purai sir. Now she will be delivering the memento to all our esteemed guests. To Professor Anand Kumar, President Indian Academy of Health Psychology. Now Dr. Shomitra Shah Sengupta will offer the memento to Professor Ramlan Chakraborty. Now Dr. Shomitra Shah Sengupta will offer the memento to Professor Sudhir Kumar Das. Now Dr. Shomitra Shah Sengupta will offer the memento to Professor D. Datta Rai sir.
That is important. Without Shomitra, we are not here.
Thanks to all for now Professor Anand Kumar will give the bouquet and memento to Shomitra Shah. Now we'll proceed towards lighting the lamp ceremony.
So I want to just recite 3 lines. Asatu ma satgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurma mritam gamaya.
Now Professor Anand Kumar will hand over the memento to Dr. Shomitra Shah Sengupta.
Now we'll be releasing the souvenir. Now to take the Valentine's.
Namaskar to all of you, and I welcome all the dignitaries on the dais who has come from so far distance to make the conference successful in recent advancement in depression management. And I also welcome all the delegates who has come from so far distant, even outside India. So I am really very thankful to them, and I will also welcome to students and all the attendees here who has come in this conference and for advancement in depression management, and so as to transform to help and support to just transformation of the society, transformation of the nation, transform of the whole world towards peace and empowerment. Because here, why I have chosen this topic, because now it's important, very important, to shift to peace, to shift to holistic health. Thank you. Just I trust that you will enjoy this conference today, and thank you to all to be here with us. Thanks.
Now every esteemed guest will address the gathering. We'll start with Dr. Didakar sir.
Please stand up first.
Shahano Bhunaktu Shahaviyan Karvavahai Tejashina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Please sit down. Today is very much auspicious day. This day is remarkable for two reasons. One reason, definitely, today's conference conducted by Sanghamitra Shah Sengupta, and her major goal is anti-depression movement. Today is another day, that is the Workers' Day. The same goal was there, that is the anti-depression. The workers, they suffer from long hours of job. They were not getting any safety, any support. They were thinking that is all the activities performed by them, that is mainly for the welfare of bosses, not for the welfare of society. So today is that particular day. I am grateful to Dr. Sanghamitra for inviting me to this August gathering in front of some senior professors of psychology, computer science, chemistry, So I am thankful to all of you. Okay. When we are thinking of the depression, then we are thinking the cognitive distortion. We are thinking the behavioral process that is distorted by the depression. There are different types of depression, endogenous, exogenous, and this is the platform where we will discuss some of the techniques and methods and tools to manage the depression. One major problem of depression is the loneliness. And when we think of the loneliness specifically, then we are disturbed. We are learning, that is, we are totally lonely. So learned helplessness, that is the major cause of depression. Here I like to remember the song. Possibly you can hear that song. যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে, একলা চলো, একলা চলো, একলা চলো, একলা চলো রে, যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে. Now, this song is very much appropriate today. Here we can expect more number of delegates, but we have limited number of delegates. But still, our vision is strong, and definitely today's deliberation will prove that if no one is with us, definitely we can move forward and we can prove. Okay, that is the how Sanghamitra tried hard to achieve this goal. Sanghamitra came to me at the Indian Statistical Institute to organize this conference. But you know, that is, Indian Statistical Institute aims at different type of statistical techniques, tools and methodologies. Only for that reason, I have told Sanghamitra that, okay, if you give emphasis on these quantitative techniques, definitely ISI will be the best platform. Otherwise, it becomes little bit difficult. Because I am managing Ravindra Psychotherapy in Indian Statistical Institute, but still I feel lot of the difficulties because still I am following the qualitative methodology. I hope that is whatever the support Sanghamitra has received from this university and from you, from your participation, definitely that will achieve the goal of this today's conference. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, sir. Now, Professor Sudip Kumar Das will address the gathering.
So, Professor Anand, Professor Chakraborty, Professor Dattarai, and Sanghamitra. And thank you, Sai and IOP, for inviting me in this August gathering. Depression is basically a common mental disorder that presents with depressed mood, loss of interest or pleasure, decreased energy, feeling of guilty or low self-worth, disturbed sleep, appetite, and poor concentration. Moreover, depression often comes with symptoms of anxiety. These problems can become chronic or recurrent and lead to substantial impairment in an individual ability to take care of her everyday responsibility. Depression can also lead to a last stage of suicide. Almost 1 million lives are lost every year due to suicide. If you consider the day-wise basis, around 3,000 people have died every day. For every person who completed the suicide, and at least 20 or more many attempt to end his whole life is there, according to WHO. There is a multiple variation of depression that a person can suffer from. With the most general thing can being a depression, the people who have or do not have a history of manic episode. A study by WHO ranked that this depression is the fourth global burden and found it to be largest non-fatal burden disease. With nearly 12% of total years of life with disability, according to WHO, the World Health Survey carried out all regions of the world. More than 60 countries participated with the depression leading to cause of disability in both male and female. The burden of depression is 50% higher in the case of female than the male. In fact, depression is also leading for decrease in disease and burden for women both in high income level, low and medium income countries. Research in developing countries suggested that the depression may be risk factor for the whole growth of the young children, and depression affected not only this generation but also the next generation. So I hope this conference will address all the aspects of depression, management of depression, remedial measures of the depression. And once again, I thank you to the Sangam Mitra for inviting me and joining the conference. Again, I thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I would ask Professor Ramanan Chakraborty to address the gathering.
Again, good morning to all of you. My greatest regards to the persons on the dais, Professor Kumar, Professor Dr. Roy, Professor Das, and Dr. Shankar Mitra. I think this is a great thing to do at the present point of time, where we, being the dean of the faculty and also being the departmental head for some period of time. So I see among the students a lot of issues are there. I think this type of conferences should discuss those issues basically for the students depression, right? Because we know that there are depressions in every society of life or work, but being the member of the faculty and also in a university, the most thing which we are concerned is the depression among our students. And I think that the speakers, the things which will be discussed in this particular conference will be very, very fruitful and will obviously lead to some charter so that the organizations like academic institutions can take care of those and can look forward that how this can be implemented, okay, and can be taken from this particular discussion. Just a few words regarding depression, what I have observed among the students, among the faculty, among the staff. It is a particular negative state of mind, okay, which comes into the feeling of an individual, okay, and that damages the creativity, that damages the productivity of the individual, and it also affects the organization where he or she is the part. So if in some way we can actually find a mechanism or a process or a procedure by which this can be taken care and this can be slowly and silently, okay, can be taken in a progressive path rather than a degenerative path, because what Dr. Das has told, that it ultimately can lead to loss of life also, and lot of actual cases of suicide, lot of attempts of suicides are happening, which is basically degenerative in the societal aspect. And the academic institutions are facing a lot on this, and obviously we know from the technology curriculum, I was just discussing with Dr. Shanthamitra that I think some of you must know this, that in the technology curriculum of prescribed by AICTE, that is the All India Council for Technical Education, they have actually kept a program of induction. Okay, it has just started the previous year from the academic session 2017-18, where they have prescribed that there should be for all the engineering graduates in the first semester of the course, there will be an induction program, and this induction program will not teach on science or technology. This induction program will be just to strengthen the mental ability, strengthen the societal knowledge of the students, and I think those are the areas where we can actually look into this aspect of depression management, and we should actually start or initiate some sort of discussion, some sort of tutorial lectures, okay, from the experts of this psychology or psychoanalysis domain. And I think it will be very good to have that type of collaboration with the psychologists from the technology faculty of this university, and I think this is true for other institutes and universities who are running the technology courses. To sum up all this, I think at the present point of time, this particular activity is not only the domain of the psychologist or psychoanalyst, though they are the knowledge giver of this domain, but the utility of this particular domain spreads in a lot of aspects, and I think that this knowledge should spread in lot of areas, lot of arenas of the working professionals, the students, of the society in a better way. And I hope that there will be some sort of collaboration and some interaction in next level with the university and the experts here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I would request Professor Anand Kumar to address the gallery.
Professor Amlan Chakravarti, Dean, Calcutta University. Professor Sudhir Kumar Das, Head of the Chemical Department, Chemical Engineering Department. Dr. D. Datta Rai, who is Regional Secretary of Indian Academy of Health Psychology. Dr. Samitra Sahu Sen Gupta, who is National Coordinator of Depression and Suicide Prevention Movement of Indian Academy of Health Psychology, and our dear friends. On behalf of Indian Academy of Health Psychology, I welcome you all in this conference, and I appreciate the efforts of Samitra that she has initiated this movement of depression management, that is very, very important aspect of present era. Indian Academy of Health Psychology was established in 2015, and its motto was to promote health and well-being among the grassroots of the society. We see that most of the associations, especially in psychological associations, the activity of the association limits only just for a conference once in a year and publishing a journal. I don't find any other activity of any other association in psychology. They are only just having a conference once in a year and publishing a journal. But we started from a different motto. Indian Academy of Health Psychology just started to train the people, to educate the people about various aspects of health and well-being to achieve optimal quality of life and to stay fit mentally and to stay fit physically. We conduct many workshops, training programs regarding the various aspects of health and well-being so that we could reach the grassroots of society. We should reach the basic community level of our society and we should educate them about the various mental health awareness programs. That is very important. Instead of just organizing a conference and discussing academically, it will not benefit to the society. I think so. If we have to go to the society, if we have to popularize the psychology in society, we will have to take care of the applied aspect of psychology. That is very, very important. And that is our mission. That is the mission of Indian Academy of Health Psychology. We are doing very well. We have organized many workshops and many training programs regarding various aspects of health and well-being, and also various intervention programs, various training programs to just train the people and just to prepare professional psychologists who should contribute positively to the society. So this depression movement is very important to aware, to educate our society about the various facets of depression and depression management. Perhaps you don't know that India had become one of the most depressed country of the world at present, according to the recent survey of WHO in 1918, last year. A survey report of WHO was published, and it was very shocking that India is on the most depressed country of the world. Could you imagine how shocking it is? And every one of the 4 males and every one of the 8 females are found to suffer from depression in any point of time in their life. So this is very alarming situation for us, and it is very important. And the most detrimental effect of depression is that the most vulnerable population is our students, our farmers and army personnel. They are committing suicide because of depression. You know, in Maharashtra and other states, so many farmers are just committing suicide because of depression. And Times of India report last year and DIPR report, Defense Institute of Psychological Research, they have found in their research reports that most of the army personnel are committing suicide because of depression, because of their circumstances, because of their loneliness in their postings and other different problems. They are committing suicide because of acute depressive stress. So this is very, very important aspect. And there are some very interesting facts about the genesis of depression. I would like to share with you all that climatic changes are also very important for the genesis of depression. Extreme hot months and extreme cold months in India are very much responsible for the genesis of depression. There is a term, winter blues, very popular term, winter blues. Winter blues, that is low mood during the colder and darker days. In various countries, there are no sunlight in the winters. In India also, when the people are living in apartments where there is no sunlight, darker side, and they are facing the colder days, which affects about 10 million cases every year in India for the genesis of depression. 10 million cases in India in the winters. And the cause is what happens in these periods. That is low level of serotonin, that is a chemical in brain, low level of endorphin, that is also a chemical in brain. So these two very important chemicals, their low level is responsible for the genesis of depression. And the lack of vitamin D, low level of vitamin D is also very much important and responsible for depression. So, if we have to manage the depression, we have to manage these factors also. We have to manage the level of serotonin, the level of endomorphin, and the lack of vitamin D. Unless we manage all these three biological factors, no counseling can be successful in getting out from depression, because you will counsel the patient and the chemical changes in the brain will again put the patient in the same condition. Unless and until you control these chemical conditions, it is very difficult to control the depression. So, we should know about the warning signs of depression. In any family, any member may be going on depression, but we should know the warning signs. There are many warning signs. If we educate people, then we can prevent a person from going to moderate or severe depression. So, what is depression? According to standard diagnostic criteria, there is a difference between sadness and depression. A person may be diagnosed as depressed if he has low and gloomy mood for at least 2 weeks. That is very important. If you have to diagnose the patients, it must be for at least 2 weeks or more. Gloomy and low mood, and he has lost interest in his usual activities. Normal day-to-day routine, he has lost interest. And there are some major signs and symptoms to find out that people is now suffering from depression. There are some behavioral aspects like stopping going out, withdrawing from close family members and friends, relying on alcohol and sedatives, and no interest in any hobby or anything what was enjoyable for that person. So these are some behavioral symptoms. And what about thought and thinking? Many type of thinking is just in the mind of a depressed person, like he thinks that I am a failure, he may think that I am worthless, he may think that nothing good will happen to me in my lifetime, and so many negative thoughts, so many negative thinking just persist in his thinking process, in his cognitive process. And what about feeling? He feels sad, there is a guilt feeling in him, he feels guilty, irrationally he feels guilty, lack of self-confidence is very important, he feels frustrated and he is unable to take decision. So these are the major changes in his feelings. And also there are so many physical symptoms, like in morning when he is waking up, no freshness, he feels tired, he feels lethargic, he feels headache, there are sleep problems with him, and changes in his appetite, either his eating behavior is just increased or very much decreased, and there is also a significant weight gain or weight loss. So be aware in your family, just watch out the members of your family. If you find a drastic behavioristic change in any of the family member, if he becomes lonely, if he is withdrawing from relatives and friends, he is not talkative, he is having such type of physical symptoms, then it is alarming that now he is entering in depression, in the phase of depression. So the question is how to manage it. So the today's topic of this conference, the reset at conference in depression management. There are many interventions, many psychological interventions, many other interventions also for depression management. So these psychological interventions that deals with the problem to change negative thinking into some positive thinking, and cognitive behavior therapy, mindfulness meditation is very significantly effective in controlling negative thinking and converting into modifying a person's belief system and his thinking system into positive ways. And another effective intervention, that is sorting out relationship problems, relationship difficulties, because that is also a major cause of depression at present. So interpersonal therapy, IPT, is very significantly effective, which focuses on the problems of personal relationships. And recently, after this inaugural session, you will hear some eminent speakers. They will tell you about Ravindric psychotherapy and neurofeedback therapy, Ravindric psychotherapy by D. Datta Rai and neurofeedback therapy by Dr. Anand Prakash Singh, Pratap Singh, who is HOD in Gautam Buddha University, and Dr. A.P. Singh organized the second international conference of Indian Academy of Health Psychology, and that was really a wonderful mega event. More than 500 delegates from India, various parts of India, counselors, psychologists, health psychologists, clinical psychologists, and other fields of psychology, and participants from more than 8 countries were present in that conference, and they have conducted many workshops, training programs, pre-conference workshops on very relevant issues of health and well-being. So you will listen him on neurofeedback therapy, and Dr. Rai, he has also done a lot of work for Indian Academy of Health Psychology, and you will listen his Ravindric psychotherapy, which is his own development. So he has got Innovative Scientist Award also from Indian Academy of Health Psychology for this innovative invention for the management of health and well-being. So psychological interventions are very, very important, and you will just hear about all these things. But for preventive measures, it is very important to keep active, be active, keep active yourself, and exercise and walking are very good preventive measures for depression. Very good preventive measures for depression. Why? Why exercise and walking are so good for prevention of depression? Because while you walk, if you exercise, then they increase your levels of neurotransmitters, that is chemical messengers in your brain, and we have found in many researches that exercise and walk increase the level of serotonin and level of endomorphins, which are the chemicals of brain that have mood lifting qualities. So these are very important factors, and people with depression, they have lost their interest and pleasure and enjoyment in doing the things once they enjoyed in their life. So this loss of pleasure and enjoyment in the life can make their depressive symptoms worse, moderate to severe depression. To reverse this negative cycle, we should plan activities which are enjoyable, interesting, relaxing, and satisfying. These activities are very, very important in overcoming depression. At first, they will not feel enjoyable as before. Maybe they start again and they feel that no, this is not as much enjoyable as what it was earlier. But with persistent tries, with persistent happenings, the pleasure should eventually return. And they should learn again to socialize, because they have the problem of loneliness. They have withdrawn from their close family members, friends, relatives, and other persons. So, relearning of socialization is very, very important for prevention of depression. So, these were some important facets of depression which a layman should know, and I hope that today in this conference the learned speakers will highlight many recent advancements and many important aspects of management of depression. So, my hearty congratulations to Dr. Sanmitra, and I wish all the best for the grand success of this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now Dr. Soumitra Sengupta will address the vote of thanks.
I want to give my thanks to Department of Chemical Institute of Engineers, especially the head of the department, Professor Sudeep Kumar Das, who extended his support and guidance to make this conference possible. Also, I want to give thanks to Dr. Amlan Chakraborty, who has come here and who is with us for supporting this conference. And I want to also give my thanks to Professor Anand Kumar sir, for whom Sri has collaborated with Indian Academy of Health Psychology, and for that only this conference was possible. And I would also like to give thanks to Dr. Devdulal Dattarai, because this topic, this recent advancement in depression management, was given by him. Previously I thought that the topic should be only depression management. But he told, no, Shambhumitra, just give recent advancement, because we all are thinking of our innovative way, our holistic techniques, our holistic methods, so as to manage the depression. It's because in depression what we are feeling, he told that we are feeling only medicine that will not work properly, because we have to also integrate with the techniques. He has given music therapy, I have given breath therapy. So my therapy is also psychophysiological breath energy therapy, and I have just integrated with holistic techniques like mindfulness meditation, mindfulness yoga, breathing techniques, and so many things, affirmations. So she told, no, that will be recent advancement in depression management. It's a wonderful topic I found lastly. So many people came from different places for that, because they all are working in recent advancement, how to manage depression. Because previously, what only medicine was there, only medicine and psychotherapy counseling. Now there are so many advancements people are doing and getting very, very good results. Because only medicine will not do only medicine and just psychotherapy counseling, but with ancient wisdom. When it is integrated with ancient wisdom, then they can manage by their own. They will not always dependent on the psychotherapist or the counselors, because they can counsel, their auto counseling can be done, because they can counsel their own. So this was very important. So for this topic I am really thankful to the Dattarai sir, and I am thankful to all the dignitaries on the dais for coming here. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Hello. So now we are going to start our second session. Our keynote speaker is Sri Gajanan Sridhar Kelkar. So now he will be giving his keynote speech, and he's chairing this pre-lunch session will be chaired by Professor Anand Kumar sir, Chief Guest of this conference, President of Indian Academy of Health Psychology. Sir, please. Now, keynote speech by Sri Gajanan Sridhar Kelkar sir. Sri Gajanan Kelkar sir is MTech from IIT, and he is Director of Manashakti Kendra, Pune. And he will be now delivering his speech on depression and management.
Good morning, everybody. To begin with, let me first thank Madam Sanghamitra and Association Shri and IHP, who have given me this opportunity to present some sort of research and views regarding managing depression. The topic was discussed with me. The depression management starts from the baby in the womb and coping mechanism. In the inaugural speech, we have heard many things like how to cope up with the depression. But to begin with, how to stop the depression. That is the one area where we will be discussing more about the management starts
in the womb. So that is one point which I would like to mention, that if we really are interested to stop the depression right from the root itself, then it should begin with the pregnant woman. I was just introduced by Madam. I am the research director and trustee of Manashakti Trust, Lonavala. And I have authored 2 books. One is The Emotional World of the Fetus, that is after the conception, and another book is The Super Procreation for Expectant Couples, where they want to have a baby, and as per the recent science of epigenetics, if they do some modifications in their thought process, how their genes are expressed in a different way, that can be very well understood in this particular book, Super Procreation from the expectant, for the expectant couples. Behavioral problems of children and neurotherapy, that is also one area where we work. Then I have authored some of the books like Swara Gayatri and the things, a new way to test mind through machines, Prenatal Project and other things. So a brief introduction, because in Calcutta people don't know what is Manashakti, so I will spend few minutes for that. And this is the one building in the Lonavala. Manashakti is situated in between Mumbai and Pune. It is roughly equidistant from Mumbai and Pune. So we enjoy both the facilities of Mumbai and Pune, and being in a hill station, it's a nice environment over there. And this is one of the building. You will see the pyramid on the top of the building, where you can experience what are the powers of pyramid by sitting yourself in the pyramid, and doing some experimentation on that. So Manashakti is basically a center for peace of mind. You will appreciate that peace can be bought with the money. So it should be in the heart. So we cater for that. It's a center for peace of mind, and we have got a very unique and novel concept of hospital for peace of mind. Nobody is having hospital for peace of mind, but we do have this particular concept with us. 3 activities are there. One is that residential study courses, various subjects are there, about 35 different topics we deal with. And the specialty of Manashakti is that Manashakti tries to combine ancient wisdom with the modern science. So all these study courses, for example, one is the study course which is not talked about. What is the effect of jealous mind on yourself and on the society? So likewise, all this, what is the cycle of life cycle? What is happening after death and what is happening before birth? So likewise, there are 25 different study courses which are. Then biomedical machine tests that we routinely conduct there, and followed by counseling sessions. There are more than 250 books and magazines to our credit by our Honorable Swami Vidyananda, and we conduct various workshops also. Last line is very important, that Manashakti doesn't accept any donations or government grants. This is only supported by the society, and there are volunteers. There are thousands of volunteers who work voluntarily for this organization. I myself is not employed. Neither anybody is employed there, but we have devoted our life for this social cause. So this is a very unique institution which I would like to tell you. The first thinker of this particular institute is Swami Vijnanananda. Vigyan, everybody knows, is the science. So the person who believed in science, he initiated this particular activity way back in 1963. And since then, Garbha Sanskar we opted as a tool for social revolution. We are doing major work in this Garbha Sanskar, because all these problems later on, probably some of you might know that in 2010 there was a cover story of the renowned Time magazine saying that how the first 9 months shape rest of your life. How the first 9 months shape rest of your life. So all the problems like hyperactivity, depression, everything, if we tackle in the womb itself. So the new subject has come up as a womb ecology. What environment you are providing to the baby, and if you provide a clean environment, you will find that the baby grows very nicely, and there are very less problems to the parents and to the society also. So this sort of Garbha Sanskar program, recently in January we had a very big and huge conference, the first international conference on the subject of Garba Samskar we organized in Lonavala. All around, about 9 countries they participated in this particular conference, 9, and 15 states in India they contributed for this particular conference. There were about 400 delegates and 300 were doctors.
It's Aman.
So this is a brief introduction about the Swamiji, Swami Vivekānanda. Interestingly, there is no Guru-Shishya relationship, nor there is ball going down in front of him, nor garlands or nothing like that. So he was a unique Swamiji, and he took Samadhi in 1993. Now coming to the main topic of depression, I will just briefly and hurriedly go over this definition and other things because all experts are here who know better than me. But my aim is to introduce to you some of the new techniques which will, sort of treat to the depression. So I will devote more time on that. But I will just go quickly and hurriedly about the definition of depression. Our Honorable Chief Guest has already elaborated. Depression is defined by the severe and prolonged feelings of sadness, dejection, and hopelessness. According to who, everybody knows about who has said about depression, but still, a recap. Depression is a common illness worldwide with more than 300 million people affected, and attempts for depression can lead to suicide. So that is the last resort. Roughly 800,000 people die due to suicide every year. So this all information is available from the WHO. We are more worried about how to get out of this one, how to break this particular cycle of depression, and what is the scenario in India. In India, upon nearly 18% of the world population, almost 5.7 crores, 57 million people in India are depressed, which are diagnosed depressed. So it's a very huge number, and it is supposed to be the second largest disease as such. Symptoms of depression: extreme sadness or depressed mood, lack of interest in activities, apathy, low energy, difficulty focusing, loneliness, withdrawing. Recently I was introduced, next week I am going to Japan for a conference, and one researcher from Japan had come to our place, and he was telling me two problems in Japan. One is the older age people. There are many more of senior citizens. That's one of the problems there. No youths are there, very less little youth. And secondly, there is a problem of loneliness here. The young people, they sit in a room. They don't mix up with the other people. And the parents, they have to feed them. They are just sitting there. They don't have any social contacts. And that is a major and big problem in Japan. That is what I was told. Now, next week I am going. We'll have to see what is the actual situation. And this has come out of this technology burst, what is happening there. Feeling of hopelessness and guilt, not being able to sleep or sleeping all the time, suicidal thoughts and feelings. How does this depression affect our both the body? You will find that this is a very, all the body parts, they are getting affected. Feeling of sadness in the brain, you will find insomnia, preoccupation with the death, trouble with memory and decisions, risk of heart attack, weight fluctuations, constricted blood vessels, increased pain sensitivity, feeling of cleanness, and fatigue, weakened immune system, lower interest in sex. So many, these are various problems which are affecting the whole body. It is just like stress. Stress is a slow killer, and depression is the outcome of this stress. Mainly three types of, there are so many different categories of depression, but I have categorized only three types: reactive depression, clinical depression or the major depression, and the bipolar depression. There may be so many other different types, but just to cut it short, reactive depression is the result of the reaction happened in his life. So, like say, death of loved one, end of relationship, loss of job, or any accident and rejection. This is called as a reactive depression, which may be for the time being or so. Then clinical or major depression, as the definition was earlier said here, that the clinical depression is marked by the depressed mood most of the day, sometimes particularly in the morning, and a loss of interest in normal activities and relationships. Symptoms that are present every day for at least 2 weeks. So this is the, as per the DSM-5 manual, so this is the very definition. Symptoms of clinical depression. There are so many symptoms where some of them we have impaired concentration, indecisiveness, insomnia, restlessness, recurring thoughts, death, suicide, etc. Bipolar or manic depression. There is a mood swing that is called as bipolar, formerly called as manic depression, is mental health condition that causes extreme mood swings that includes emotional highs and lows. That is a depression. And symptoms of mania: extremely high euphoric mood, extremely irritability, decreased need for sleep without feeling tired, racing thoughts or fast speech, difficulty in focusing, increased energy, activity, restlessness, increased sexual drive, abuse of drugs, particularly cocaine, alcohol, etc. These are symptoms of manic. Now, if you go to the reasons, there are so many reasons, but if you broadly classify, there are 3 types of classification: as the biological reasons, psychological reasons, and social reasons. So we will briefly see one by one what do they mean. Biological, as we have already been told, that is a reduced level of neurotransmitters in the brain, which communicate serotonin and noradrenaline. Hereditary and imbalance in hormonal level, the biological depression. We will find that in the pregnancy there is 2 types of depression are there during pregnancy and after postpartum depression. So this is basically imbalance of hormones in during that particular state. So postpartum depression, and you will be surprised to know, or maybe few of you people know, that the males also they have postpartum depression. I don't know whether this is known to everybody or not, but in the pregnant couple, as the mother suffers from postpartum depression, the father also suffers from the postpartum depression. So psychological reasons of depression, that it depends on his personality, about his thoughts. What is his personality? Like very ambitious, anxious, obsessive, perfectionist, setting very high standards for self, impulsive, aggressive, self-centered. So these are personality tests, and that is why in Manashakti we work that we conduct a test called as personality test, which is not a paper and pencil test, but it is based on how his pulse varies by listening to a particular thought or by imagining a particular thought, how his pulse varies, and that speaks about his personality. So there is a very good test called as personality test. We ask them to imagine different thoughts in his mind, like his wish about money, about health, what are his thoughts, and see his pulse variation, and then decide what is his personality, where he is spending his mind energy more. So the personality factor is more prevalent in this particular event. Then the social factor is also there. This is the depression due to social causes in the death, divorce, and diseases. Interpersonal relationship, that is also one of the major factors which we have just talked right now. Single people and divorced people, where they can. This is one part of the emotional intelligence or the multiple intelligence, that they are not able to interact with themselves and to the people also. So the emotional intelligence or interpersonal relationship is good. Now coming here, if the mother is depressed during pregnancy, how does it affecting the baby later on in their life? There are so many references that depression in the baby affects. Mainly you will find that the hyperactivity in the baby is increased if the mother is depressed. With severe depression, the hyperactivity, ADHD cases are more. But you will find the literature saying that at various stages how it is getting affected. So if you are depressed and you may have trouble in being loving and caring with your baby all the time, this can lead to the insecure attachment. So the attachment and bonding is a very good important role. It plays an important role in the development of the baby. Right in while the baby is in the womb, which can cause problems later in the childhood. How a mother's depression affects her child depends on her child's age. Age-wise, the information is available, like babies who don't develop a secure attachment because of depressed mother have trouble in interacting with their mothers, have problems in sleeping, may be delayed in their development, have more colic, be quiet and become passive, or develop skills or reach developmental milestones later than other babies. So all the milestones are again, they take longer time. Effect of depressed mother during pregnancy, again, the toddlers and preschoolers be less independent, be less likely to socialize with others, have more trouble in accepting discipline, be more aggressive, destructive, and not do as well as in the school. Then school-age children. If the mother is depressed, what is happening to the school-age children? Behavioral problems, having trouble in learning, have a high risk of ADHD, not to do as well as in school, or have high risk of anxiety, depression, other mental health problems. So all these are the roots goes to the baby in the womb. Teens. Now in the teenagers, how do they behave because of the depressed mother? Whose mothers suffer from depression or high risk of number of problems such as the major depression, anxiety disorder, conduct disorders, substance abuse, ADHD and learning difficulties. So you will appreciate that the depression in the pregnancy is quite harmful, and the baby has to give the higher toll for time. Women with depressed anxiety and during the pregnancy may be more likely to have babies with the altered brain development. This is also important research, that their brain gets altered. This might be linked with the behavioral problems later in the life. Our study suggests that the moderate levels of maternal depression and anxiety symptoms during pregnancy were associated with the brain's white matter or the wiring at 1 month's age. So antenatal depression. So this is again, the conclusion is more important, that the researchers concluded that the children born to the depressed mothers were on an average 1.5 times more likely to be depressed at 18 years old. So this all starting at when the baby is in the womb. So we have to concentrate how the pregnancy would be a peaceful, the joyful in the pregnancy, so that all the problems will be minimized. So many references are there about the antenatal depression. They have cited so many cases. Now what is happening in the brain because of the depression and the changes in the brain? Three major things are happening in the brain. One is the hippocampus shrinks, prefrontal cortex shrinks, and amygdala gets enlarged. We will just see briefly one by one. This is the overall location in the brain. This is the hypothalamus region. This is the amygdala, the seat of emotions, pituitary gland, the brainstem, and the hippocampus. So all these the major areas regarding the emotions, because hypothalamus is mainly dealing with the emotional part of the brain, and this is getting affected by the various ways. Like here I have said, hippocampus shrinks. Prefrontal cortex, the executive function, the prefrontal cortex, that also shrinks, and the amygdala gets enlarged because of the more of cortisol. The hippocampus is the part of the limbic system which is associated with the functions of feeling and reacting. The limbic system is situated on the edge of the cortex. We have seen the location. And these structures help control different bodily functions such as endocrine systems, what is commonly known as fight and flight reaction, fight, flight and freeze. It's a HPA axis as we call it, with the hippocampus. Hippocampus and memory. It is again linked with the memory. Hippocampus helps human process, and there are two kinds of memories, declarative memories and the spatial relationship. Declarative memories are those related to the facts and events. For example, they include learning how to memorize switches or lines. See, all this plays a role for the developing baby. You will find that it is all essential to memorize, to recall, everything is essential. Spatial relationship memory involve the pathways and routes. The spatial relationship, they will be having difficulty in analyzing the Google Maps and so many other things. Hippocampus also is also where the short-term memories are turned into the long-term memories. These are then stored elsewhere in the brain. Research has shown that the nerve cells continue to develop throughout the adulthood. Hippocampus is one of the few places where the brain new nerve cells are generated. It is by and large said that the brain never generates the new cells, by and large. But hippocampus is the only area where the new cells are getting generated. This is a recent finding. But otherwise, whatever neurons he has accumulated at the time of birth, they will continue to be throughout the life. But hippocampus is the only one area. Now it is detected that it can generate new. And because of depression, this new generation of neurons in hippocampus gets affected. What can go wrong? You will find that the Alzheimer is the result outcome of that. And then the memory loss, damage to the hippocampus can also be hard to remember how to get from one place to another. So spatial memory is also getting affected. It can also be linked to the conditions such as schizophrenia and the post-traumatic PTSD syndrome. So these are the, because of the depression, what is affecting the day-to-day life. Alzheimer's disease, this again, hippocampus can shrink up to by 20% according to some researchers. Move on to the next one. Prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal cortex is very important for the human development. This is the executive part of the whole personality. Prefrontal cortex. It is located in the very front of the brain. It is responsible for regulating emotions, making decisions, forming memory. Where the body produces excess amount of cortisol, the prefrontal cortex also appears to shrink. So the functions of prefrontal lobe are also getting affected because of the depression. Amygdala is the part of the brain. Now coming to the amygdala. Amygdala will find that all the information, this is an emotional seat, and all the information comes to amygdala. There is a very good concept of the hijacking, neural hijacking. In neural hijacking, the regular pathways are bypassed, and amygdala gets the direct information and he gives the order accordingly. So amygdala plays a very important role in the total working of the brain. Amygdala is the part of the brain that facilitates emotional response, such as fear and pleasure. In people with a major depression, the amygdala becomes enlarged and more active as a result of constant exposure to the high levels of cortisol. An enlarged and hyperactive amygdala, along with abnormal activity in the other parts of the brain, can result in disturbances in sleep, activity patterns. It can also cause the body to release irregular amounts of hormones and chemicals in the body, leading to further complications. Major parts in the brain, they get affected. Now what are the, coming to the solutions part of it, there are different solutions like the medicines are being prescribed. So many, we will just go through this, but whatever I want to tell you is the recent development in this particular one. What are the solutions? You will find that basically depression is related with the mind. Depression is not to the body. As we call it in the fatigue is maybe to the body, but there is the mental fatigue also. But depression is basically to the mind. So the treatment should be to the mind. And the solution should be also targeted towards mind. That is the mental balance. Now, as I told you, that these are the medicine like SSRI, Prozac, Zolpidem, and so on. This is the one part of it. There are then advantages, disadvantages. Then psychofeedback therapy, that is also known to everybody. Cognitive behavioral therapy. Then relaxation techniques. Out of this, mindfulness meditation has been thought of, has been working nicely with this. Then ECT is also there. In the Slovenian I find reference about this one. ECT, that is shock treatment. Then there are two new techniques. One is called as the dialogue with the body. Normally we have dialogue with others. We don't try to dialogue with ourselves. So it is dialogue with the chakras. So this is a very, also another meditation technique, and very basic and beautiful technique. Where you concentrate, you go to your inner side and then try to uplift your energy from the Muladhara chakra till the up. So it's called a dialogue with the body. then the light therapy or the photic stimulation. So these are some of the aspects, and I would like to give some of the demo of that. We begin with that, and then the concept is that the rhythmic photic stimulation at alpha frequencies produces antidepressant-like effect in mouse model of depression. That is the research. So it is called as a rhythmic photic stimulation. So the stimulation of light and in the range of alpha, that is 10 cycles, 9 to 11 cycles per second. If you produce that and give a feedback to the person, you will find that it has an antidepressant-like effect. So without taking antidepressant drugs, you will have the similar effect with the photic stimulation. So I have designed the equipment for this one, but first let us try to understand the theory behind this one. Rhythmic flickering photic stimulation at alpha frequencies at 9 to 11 Hz clearly improves performance on behavioral tasks, assessing anxiety, locomotor activity, social interaction, and despair. Secondly, the present findings demonstrate that LED-driven flickering photic stimulation more rapidly improves behavioral outcomes in a CORT-induced mouse model of depression. Based on these particular facts, I have come with a small machine which can be used by everyone. So I will just demonstrate it. This is called the flashing pyramid. So there is a pyramid shape structure is there. So we combine the power of pyramid, and this is a small booklet which gives you the details of that. And I have got some videos also I will show you later. But right now this is a pyramid shaped machine which is having a small LED bulb inside and which flickers at the preset frequencies. The preset frequencies are in the 5 states of mental states like delta, theta, alpha, SMR and beta. In a way this is a sort of brain wave generator. This is not connected with the brain, but this oscillates with the same frequency in that particular. Suppose a person is angry and is having beta as his frequency, you will find that the light flickers in that frequency. I will just put it on. You will find that there is a flicker and the frequency can be changed. These are preset frequencies. This is the high frequency when the person is excited or angry. He is into the beta region, that is this frequency. Similarly, when he is in a deep meditative state, he is having more of delta, deep state of relaxation or deep meditation, around 1 to 3 cycles per second. And secondly, the color also can be changed to suit his personality. This is the green one. There are 3 basic colors: red, green and blue, depending on the personality. If somebody is more fearful, he can use the red color. Danger. And if somebody is having anger as a predominant temperament, he can use the yellow or green color. And somebody is quest for the courage, can use the blue color. So the color can be selected and the frequency can be selected. Now the literature said that this is a photic stimulation, and if you put it in the alpha range, you will find at the back there are numbers here, which state of frequency. This is delta, theta and alpha. This is 10 cycles per second, and if this is being concentrated on this, then the same frequency will be induced in his brain. More alpha will be coming in. And this can be corroborated if you attach a EEG machine and see what are the percentages of the brain waves. In our center, we do regularly this sort of things. that we are having neurofeedback now. Dr. Shekhar Anand. He is going to talk more about this one. So, but we are doing in Lonavala all this neurofeedback. So this is the one machine which is affordable for the treatment and they can be used. And why flicker is being used? It's very interesting to know. The reason behind this is this flicker carries intelligence. You will find that all the optical communication is using the flicker, on and off, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. So the flicker carries intelligence. So that is why this flicker is being used, and the frequency with which it is being generated, if you concentrate for a few minutes, the same frequency will be dominant in your brain. So that is the main principle behind this particular machine. I have got few machines there displayed there, and you can have a look there also, and those who want to take, they can also take from there. Secondly, this particular machine can be used in various ways. Like in a hyperactivity kids, you can reduce the theta and increase the SMR level. So I have got a setup there. They are also having a setup there. You can give a feedback of this particular. So you can use this particular for reducing theta and increasing SMR level. So put this machine to SMR, that is 13 Hertz, and then give the feedback to the students. You will find that you will be getting into. So this is one area, one machine which we have designed this one after so much of research, because this took a lot of time to make a die and to calibrate it, so many other things. Ultimately, this is now available. Now, other techniques. One more thing I would like to tell you is about the volition. Are you aware of this volitional brain? Anybody? Volition is the word used to signify the power of mind. And the research in this particular topic, volition, it says that with the power of mind, you can change the brain structure. Brain has got plasticity. You can change the brain structure. Because what is happening because of depression? The brain structure changes. To counterbalance, if you use the mind power, and you will find that again the brain structure can be restored. So the volitional, there is a very good research on this particular area, volitional brain, and there is a lot of research. I am also, recently I have come up to this particular topic of volitional brain. We need to see more into this particular details of this volition. So mind power can be used to change the brain structure, that is what it implies. Second important fact is that if you do something consciously, you will find that there is a change. Only thing, the awareness and consciousness is more. So that is why mindful meditation works in this depression, because of the consciousness. You consciousness, you feel where is the tension in your body. You concentrate on your breathe. That is the concentration. That also is very important. So mindfulness also works. Similarly, some breathing techniques also will work on this particular area. When the alpha oscillations are prominent, your sensory inputs tends to minimize, your mind is generated clear unwanted thought. Alpha wave feedback is shown here. I have just recorded how we give alpha feedback in our center. So I will just play this particular small clip for you. It is not playing here. But you will find that she is attaching the electrodes to her earlobes, both the earlobes, and a proper area, the skull. And then there is a machinery which will detect these brain waves, and it is not coming up here. Anyway, the feedback can be given, the alpha feedback, or you can increase or decrease whatever waves you want to as per your criteria. So this sort of facility is available with us there in Lonavala, and this is the flashing pyramid which I just showed you here. There is one good technique called as a breathing technique. I have prepared a CD called as a Breathe Well. Breathe Well CD, the idea is that normally we breathe at the rate of say 12 to 15 breaths per minute. And if you want to have effective breathing or the optimal breathing, the breathing rate should come down to around 5 to 6 breaths per minute. There is a conscious effort to reduce your breathing rate. And this is safely achieved with that particular CD. There is a chanting of Om, and you have to breathe in for that and then breathe out for that particular time. So that is also one of the very good technique. If the time permits, we can have that 5 minutes of breathing. It's very interesting also, and everybody will learn how to breathe in and breathe out and reduce it. So I think the time allotted to me is over. So I have got my leaflets there at the back. You can collect the leaflets from there, or we will distribute it. This leaflet about the institution, you can write to me. My phone numbers also. So thank you very much.
Big round of applause for Sri Kelkar sir. This is really interesting. We got to know a lot of things about Garsanska which we were not aware of it. Thank you. So now I would like to call upon Dr. Muhammad Ali Khalid from Bangladesh, and he is a clinical psychologist with area of interest in psychopathological disorder of childhood and adolescence. We welcome you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Anyway, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Deepak Kumar Kaur, is not available due to certain reasons. So others, Professor M.N. Chakraborty, Dean Faculty Council for Postgraduate Students in Engineering and Technology, Professor Sudip Kumar Das, Head, Department of Chemical Engineering of University of Calcutta, Professor Ananda Kumar, President of Indian Academy of Health Psychology, and co-founders of Sri Healthcare Research International, Dr. Sanghamitra Sahu Sengupta. Invited guests, faculty, delegate, journalists, students, ladies and gentlemen. Really, I feel honored to be here as a guest speaker of this Nobel inaugural session of First National Conference of Recent Advancement of Depression Management at first time in Calcutta, City of Joy. I said Kolkata, City of Joy, organized by Sri Healthcare Research International in collaboration with Indian Academy of Health Psychology. We have now arrived at such a stage where we can put forward to share our thoughts, ideas and experiences with confidence and authenticity to enrich the professionalism to way forward our mission and vision in the days ahead. My special thanks to respected Professor Ananda Kumar and Dr. Sanghamitra Sahu Sengupta to organize imperative issues on anti-depression movement for human well-being. I will say some things more about my country as well. April 7 is celebrated globally as World Health Day, and the chosen theme of depression for 2017 has been lauded for bringing the issue in the open. Countries in the region such as Bhutan, Bangladesh, Indonesia and Maldives and Sri Lanka have made mental health among other top 10 priorities. 8 of 11 member countries in Southeast Asia have policies and plans which address mental health issues. As we well aware that around 450 million people currently suffer from such conditions, placing mental disorders among the leading causes of ill health and disability worldwide. Depressive disorders are already the fourth leading cause of global disease burden. They are expected to be ranked second by 2020, behind ischemic heart disease but ahead of other diseases. There are effective treatments for moderate and severe depression. Healthcare providers may offer psychological treatment such as behavioral activations, cognitive behavioral therapy, and interpersonal therapy or antidepressant medications. Healthcare providers should keep in mind the possible adverse effect of associated antidepressant medications. The ability to deliver either intervention or individual preferences. Different psychological treatment formats for consideration include individual and group face-to-face psychological treatments delivered by professional and supervised lay therapies. Bangladesh passed a new Mental Health Act 2018, which replaced the outdated 105-year-old Lunacy Act 1912. A systematic review revealed that prevalence of mental health as 3.5 to 22.9% in children and 6.5 to 31% in adults in Bangladesh. In such a context, the new act brings hope for those with mental illness by protecting their property rights and keeping provisions for health and rehabilitation services. WHO Country Office of Bangladesh supports the National Institute of Mental Health to develop a national mental health policy to ensure the mental health of all people by taking into consideration the mental health needs of the population and services available. A pilot project and sharing experiences with other countries. The mental health needs of the population service consultation negotiation took place through working groups, consensus meetings involving independently from government, international organizations, professional associations, universities and NGOs. Last but least, that we the psychologists, psychiatrists, social workers, sociologists, teachers, students and all other related field workers now the time to raise our voice to avert the community and dedicate ourselves for human well-being. Thank you everybody. So I show some preventive and post-operative in depression, non-depression management. So easy that I finished within 10 minutes, very big to impact practically. Anyway, you have to go forward. Even we are very limited guests here, even participants, it doesn't matter. I think these are the dedicated people are here, those who can raise the voice against anti-depression management, anti-depression movement, I believe. So don't worry about that, we should dedicate ourselves here and we should go forward in a combination of peoples or associate whatever the things we feel comfortable for us. So I submitted a small research, that is strategic progression of medications and of psychotherapy to administer depression in primary care. So depression, I don't want to mention what is depression. You might be depressed here. If I go long lectures, you'll be depressed. There's a lot of reasons behind it to be depressed. Lot of maybe. First thing we have to find out the cause behind it. This is the most important. Lot of reasons. Maybe severe, maybe mild, maybe simple, maybe conflict management, maybe conflict between the husband and wife. I handle not that so much, but I handle very severe people, and by the grace of God, they are now working very nicely on earth. They are placed in a normal life. They are working in a normal life. You have to dedicate first. So anyway, depression, I want to mention because our senior professor, lecturer, speaker, they have already mentioned what depression. So I say only when issues focus that how to detect or how to find out the root cause of depression. I know counseling. There are few people who they don't have any idea about the way how to counsel. I will not say negatively, I'm talking about the positive. And basically I am positive minded, I want to, everybody should be positive. So we have to study. Just, I have ideas that I started counseling. No, we have to study. So counseling in a different way. So that second is that important screening, diagnosing and measuring responses. Lot of measuring instruments, lot of measuring questionnaires. So any assessment by the individual to acknowledge language. So we understand if someone from the abroad, say someone professor of psychology or the London, if he or she has started to treat in some discontinent people, maybe not, he or she will not understand fully because of the language, our feelings, our expression is different. So language, cultural difference, intellectual or cognitive impairments, age also is a very main factor. Comorbid, psychiatric or other illness, anxiety develop, and compared to substance abuse, 8 questionnaire is useful. This suicide must always be military. There are a lot of screening based on the questionnaire. As a psychologist, I am not going through the psychiatrist matter because I am not that much knowledge, very simple knowledge from the book. But anyway, I'll show some examples of some machines, equipment. Psychiatric consultation treatment, we know optimal treatment for anxiety, mental health. This is important. PHQ. PHQ questionnaire is 9, PHQ 9, sometimes it may be PHQ 2. We started to administer the PHQ 2 fast for 8 to 10 weeks, so we will observe then what is going to be happen. If the patient evidence that not improved, then we will go for study and improving mood, promoting access to collaborative treatment for late life depression, impact. 1801 primary care patient was depressed and an average 3.5 chronic medical disorder from 18 primary care clinics to collaborative care. Impact, participants were experiencing substantial improvement, 50% or greater improvement in the depression severity score of the Hopkins symptom checklist SCL-20 over 12 months. 4 scales we can use. Primary care evaluation of mental health. Primary MD can provide us with a highly sensitive 94%, but not very specific 35% screening test for depression. The geriatric depression scale GDS is a self-report measure designed to minimize the impact of somatic symptoms associated with the aging and illness. It has a yes or no format, and the 15-item version using cutoff of 5 has good sensitivity and positive for predictive values for diagnosis of major depression. If the clinician is concerned about the cognitive impairment, the mini mental state exam, which takes 5 minutes to administer and score, is a useful addition. 9 also offers severity score for each symptom and hence can also be used to follow outcome. MD also, BDI are probably the best validated scale to qualitatively assess response to treatment. Response has been defined as 50% reduction in baseline score on the MD or BDI in the most clinical trials. In practice, we identify. We ideally. You want to say something?
5 minutes more, sir.
5 minutes more? Oh, it will cover. Enough for me. I can finish within 2 minutes. Depression measuring scale. Depression measuring scale, we can use more, PHQ 9. Evaluation and the result questionnaires remains perhaps in place. This is pharmacological treatment. A bit differs from our psychological treatment anyway. So cause unpleasant withdrawal symptoms and can be unsafe. Electroconvulsive therapy also can be used for severe cases. These are the psychotherapy is commonly used. So we know interpersonal therapy, even based on psychotherapy, that has been found ineffective in treatment of depression. CBT also we know. interperson already spoke. Somatic council. So now we can use dance or movement therapy. This is also very important for certain patients. Meditation. I will advise take meditation from a proper professional. I think it's a practice. Professionals must be professionals to administer meditations. Exercise, this is very common. These can be used for preventive. If you exercise, if you go for meditations, you should do this. This is all the preventive. Light therapy, this is not preventive, this is psychological, psychosomatic disorders. Nutrition, vegetable, this is also important. These are all preventive. I am talking about this. Vitamins and minerals also. Vitamin B complex helps. C, D also, but vitamin B complex. Approach, effective collaborative approaches for anxiety disorder and for depression and complete medical disorder. Success in advancement in depression management largely depends on patient's participation and self-activation. Thank you everybody. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Khalid sir. A big round of applause to Khalid sir, all the way from Bangladesh. And now I would like to call upon Dr. Anand Pratap Singh, who is a clinical psychologist and from Gautam Buddha University, India.
Sorry for the inconvenience. Respected chair of this session, all the esteemed delegates present in this hall, a very good morning to all of you. Rather, it's a pride moment for me. Our mentor, our guru, and our guide, Professor Anand Kumar sir is there as a chair, and I'm going to present my paper. He has always been like an instrumental factor and guiding force for all of us. So definitely it's a pride moment. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Sanghamitra Madam and her entire team for giving me this opportunity to share my view in this conference, and I would also like to thank her and the entire team for making such a nice arrangement and organizing this conference with the banner of IESP, because I am also attached, associated with IESP as one of the co-member of the SQP committee. So today, as you all know, that we are discussing since the morning about the depression. So I'll begin with the basic definition of the depression. So depression, we can define the depression as the pervasive and persistent sadness of the mood, lack of interest and lack of energy within the individual, at least since last 2 weeks. So if we try to look into the the continuum of the sadness of the mood on the part of the individual, so it could start with the the normal mood lowering, like any person might have the normal mood lowering just because of any ups and downs on routine basis or any unpleasantness what the person has got encountered in the daily life. But when this normal mood lowering becomes the abnormal mood lowering, and which takes the form of persistence and pervasive nature, then definitely this abnormal mood lowering may be associated with some kind of functional impairment within the individual. And once this functional impairment is there associated with the individual, definitely this might again be associated with the wide range of the symptoms, and these wide range of the symptoms could be the there could be negative views on the part of the individual, and these negative views may be like regarding the self of the individual, regarding the world around, and also regarding the future of the individual. Not only this, the person might have the feeling of worthlessness, the feeling of guilt and shame within, and the person might have some like altered biological states, like some increment or like some decrease in the appetite as well as the sleep pattern of the individual. The person might also have some diurnal variation of the mood, which is like a person might have sadness or lowering mood in the morning and evening. However, rest of the time of the day the person might have the intact mood state. The person might have the loss of energy and also the impaired cognitive abilities, like the impaired attention concentration ability, impaired executive function and impaired memory function within the individual. The depression could also be associated with the impaired work ability or the emotional ability, the poor social functioning, and also the psychomotor retardation, and eventually the person even might have some death wishes or the suicidal ideation within. So, if we talk about the range of the symptoms, so definitely as a psychologist, our role is like to look into more into the psychological perspective of the depressive disorder, and as a psychologist we can focus more on the like the psychological variables. So, if we try to look into the psychological perspective, so there may be like some impairment associated with the motivation of the individual. The person might appear to be having the apathy, loss of energy and interest, and the things might seem to be pointless and hopeless for the individual. The person might have like the low mood and emptiness, anger or resentment, and also might have the feeling of shame and guilt, as I discussed. So far as cognition is concerned, definitely there are two types of the cognition. Generally we understand one is the related with the higher mental functioning, that is about the attention concentration ability, the memory functioning, executive function, problem solving approach, all these things, and the other like the other aspect of the cognition is that is related with the belief system of the individual, or you can say the thinking. So in depression, definitely the person might have like on one hand the impaired cognitive ability, impaired higher mental functioning, and on other hand the person might also have like the dysfunctional kind of belief system or the negative ideas about the self, world and the future. So far as behavior is concerned, definitely the person might be observed having the lowered activity, psychomotor retardation, social withdrawal and agitation on the part of the individual who is having depressive disorder. Now I am coming to the the major theme of this conference, how the depression could be managed. So if we try to look into the traditional approaches which are generally in common practice in our like the medical sciences. So the very first approach which comes to the mind, that is the therapeutic like the pharmacological approach or pharmacological management. So though we are clinical psychologists, this is not our area, but briefly I will throw the light about some of the antidepressants like the tricyclic antidepressants, SSRI, SNRIs and SNRIs. All these these are the specific categories of the antidepressants, and the very first thing which is generally practiced with the depressive patient, that is the antidepressants, and by taking the antidepressant the patients can recover with the depressive symptoms. But certainly some of the limitations are observed along with this pharmacological management, and one of the very first thing is that is the side effect associated with the antidepressants or any drugs. Second thing, generally there is a specific myths associated with the psychotropic medications, and majorly we see the patient generally they maintain the non-compliance with the psychotropic medication, believing that like all these drugs are just for the sleeping pills, so there is no need to take all these sleeping pills, and they maintain the poor compliance, and eventually or subsequently they show the relapse in the symptoms. The third very important thing is like in our society, in Indian scenario, the economic cost of the medication, that is again always perceived to be very high on the part of the patient, and they generally get discouraged to take the medication. Now the next very common approach which is generally in common practice, that is the psychological approach. So Since we have psychology background, so many of us must be knowing about the various kind of psychological approaches, and we start with the psychodynamic theory or psychodynamic approach, which is considered to be the first approach in the entire history of psychological sciences. And by taking the help of this psychodynamic approach, we talk about the pre-association kind of things, the catharsis and the dream analysis kind of things, and on the basis of these techniques, we generally facilitate the individual to recover with the depressive symptoms. The other very important theoretical approach, or you can say like the therapeutic approach, that is the behavior therapy. In behavior therapy, like in the morning also we had like some of the light about the behavior therapy what Professor Anand sir discussed in the presidential address. Like we can discuss about the activity scheduling on the part of the patient, homework assignment. We generally give some homework assignment to practice at the home, and also we can encourage the patient to be the to encourage the mood elevating activities on the part of the patient, so that the patient could be facilitated in recovering with the depressive symptoms. And the very popular technique, that is the relaxation technique, which is also commonly practiced in the behavior therapy. The other very important approach, which is nowadays commonly used by the psychologists and clinical psychologists, that is the cognitive behavior therapy. So in cognitive behavior therapy, we generally take the help of both the therapeutic aspects like the cognitive theory as well as the behavioral theory. So many cognitive techniques are there. So before practicing the cognitive techniques, we generally try to identify the cognitive errors on the part of the patient, and by identifying the cognitive errors and automatic negative thoughts, we generally practice some cognitive techniques like the thought replacement, thought restructuring, thought stopping, etc. And by taking the help of this cognitive behavior therapy, we generally facilitate the individual to recover with the depressive symptoms. But now, again, I can say like there are some limitations which are observed associated with these kind of psychological approaches. And a very, like the very first limitation which is observed on the part of the patient, that is the lack of motivation, initiative, and lack of pursuit. As we know, like the psychomotor retardation is a very important symptom associated with the depressive patient. So generally, the depressive patient, just because of the psychomotor retardation, they are not very much motivated to practice the cognitive techniques and behavior therapy. So this kind of limitation could be observed on the part of the patient. Again, very important thing is that is the supervision. Since the patients have the like the psychomotor retardation, so generally they always need some closer supervision so that they could practice the techniques, and also they always want some reassurance so that like they could be assured about the practice of the techniques, whether they are practicing the techniques rightly or not. Then other very important limitation which is observed, that is the objective measure of the effectiveness. Generally, if you are practicing some cognitive behavior techniques with the patient, so this could be very subjective in nature. If the patient is telling something like I am feeling better now by practicing this one or ABC technique, then only like you can just rely on the saying of the patient. You don't have any objective measure. Though we generally have the visual analog scale as a clinician, as a clinical psychologist, we can have our observation like in the various aspects of the symptoms of the depression, to what extent the person is like showing some recovery or the improvement. But eventually we have to rely on the saying of the patient, and we don't have any objective measure about the like the effectiveness of the cognitive behavioral techniques. Again, very important thing is that is the variability in the practices. Though we do our work, we generally educate the patient. This like these are the ABC cognitive techniques, these are the XYZ behavioral technique. You have to practice ABC and XYZ in this particular manner. But when the person or the patient goes back to home, how the person is practicing, how the patient is practicing these techniques, again there could be the variability. And if the variability is there is no uniformity, so definitely the effectiveness of the technique could be affected. Then again a very important limitation, that is the prolonged practices for the desirable result. Always it is required to practice the cognitive techniques or the behavioral techniques for a prolonged duration so that you could have the desired result out of that. And the other very important factor is that is the medical and physical attribution. Many times, like the patient, they attribute to some physical condition, some medical condition, like I'm having headache, I'm having like the body pain, like some problem is there, some medical condition is there, some physical problem is there. So they generally have this tendency to attribute those medical and physical conditions just to avoid the practice of the cognitive behavioral techniques. So now I am coming to the new approach, like the psychophysiological approach of treating the depressive disorder. Though like this psychophysiological approach is not new, it can be like it is there in our cultural heritage. So before I discuss this psychophysiological approach, or which is also known as the mind-body medicine, I would like to mention here two of the story. I think you all must be knowing about the Hanuman Bahuk. Have you heard about Hanuman Bahuk? So Hanuman Bahuk is a kind of slok that is the one of the chanting that has been done by Tulsidas, who created the Ramcharitmanas. So there is one saying in the Ramcharitmanas, like once Tulsidas, he had a very severe kind of pain in his shoulders. So he was not having any way how to recover with the the physical pain. Then he started chanting the Hanuman Bahuk, and by the chanting of this Hanuman Bahuk, he developed the inner energy, inner sources to recover with that particular physical pain. Another example I would like to mention here about the Lord Buddha. When Lord Buddha went to take the round of his kingdom, so he got encountered with the four sides, and after getting the encounter with the four sides, he developed some suffering, the psychological suffering within. So through the meditative techniques and through the inner energy, what he practiced, he recovered with those the suffering, the psychological suffering, and later on he preaches about the karma theory and how by practicing the karma theory or by relying on our own energy, how can we recover with the suffering which is there within. So this entire psychophysiological approach or mind-body medicine is entirely based on this old concept which is there in our cultural heritage, but now we have the entire concept has been instrumentalized, and now by taking the help of the instruments we are practicing the same concept, and now we can say this psychophysiological approach or mind-body medicine approach has been revisited in the medical science in India. So psychophysical approach or mind-body medicine approach is a kind of approach where we generally make the individual learn how to make the changes within and how those changes could be evident or empirical, and by taking the feedback from that evidence, the person can learn what kind of physiological changes or physiological reactions to be maintained within. So this biofeedback is the process that enables an individual to learn how to change the physiological activities for the purpose of improving health and performance. These biofeedback are generally based on some specific machines. These machines could be there by involving the brain wave or the heart functioning, muscle activity and skin temperature. And in conjunction of these physiological reactions, one could be able to change in the thinking, emotion and behavior. Now there are various types of the biofeedback machines. So, like the machines which is based or which is generally which takes the parameter of EEG or neurological activity, that is known as the neurofeedback technique or neurobiofeedback technique or EEG biofeedback. The machine which generally takes the parameter of heart rate variability or the cardiac functioning, that is known as the ECG biofeedback. The machine which takes the parameters of the muscle activity, that is known as the EMG biofeedback, and the machine which takes the parameter of sweat glands, that is known as the EDG biofeedback, and the last machine which is there in the parameters of the biofeedback, that is the temperature. And out of these the varied parameters, whatever the machines you are using, all could be helpful in recovering with the symptoms of the depressive disorder. What I am going to discuss here, that is the effectiveness of the neurofeedback therapy. What I practice at my clinic, it's my original work, what I am going to present to you. So neurofeedback therapy is the state-of-art technology. It's a non-invasive, purely non-invasive therapy in nature. Basically, it helps the individual for exercising the brain to rechange the mind activities or the brain activity. And this is possible because we know that our brain has the tendency of plasticity. So by making the individual to learn to change and improve the bodily reactions or the physical reaction, the patient or the individual could be able to recover with the depressive symptoms. This is entirely based on the principle of operant conditioning. It involves the rewarding an individual or inhibiting the certain brain waves which are undesired and or increasing the certain brain waves which are desired to recover with the depressive symptoms. So this is the graphical presentation of the biofeedback or neurofeedback machine. So brain events are there. It could be in the form of the behavioral pattern of the individual. It could be the form of the thought pattern of the individual, and like whatever the behavioral patterns or thought patterns are there, if the person is attempting to make the changes in the behavioral pattern and the thought patterns which are there, so the feedback could be evident in the screen of the computer, and by taking the feedback the person can continue making the changes in the bodily reaction or the physiological reaction. So this is the training session. How do we conduct the neurofeedback training session? Like the patient, in both the situations, the neurofeedback training session could be applied. One is by taking the help of the sitting position, and the other one is the supine position. So in both the conditions, we generally place the electrode on the scalp of the patient, and the brain wave activities could be observed in the screen, computer screen. And by taking the help of the brain wave activities in the computer screen, the patient generally gets the feedback, and by taking the feedback, the patient can recover with the depressive symptoms. So to place the electrodes, we generally follow the 10-20 system of the positioning of the electrode. 10-20 system is we generally measure the distance from Nagian to the Enian portion. So this entire distance is measured. So the the electrodes could be placed either the 10% of this entire distance or the 20% of the entire distance. So this is how we can place the electrodes on the scalp. And there are the various locations in terms of the localization and lateralization. We can place the electrodes, and we can facilitate the brain activity reading of the individual. There are various channels of the neurofeedback training. What we practice at our clinic, that is the 2-channel machine. And 2-channel machine is generally there are 5 electrodes. Out of these 5 electrodes, 1 electrode is placed as the reference electrode, and the 2 electrodes are placed towards the earlobe, and 2 electrodes are placed on towards the frontal pole of the cerebral cortex. And by placing these electrodes, we can facilitate the patient to read the the brain activities and to get the feedback from the machine. So normal ranges of the various waves are the delta 1 to 4 Hz, then theta 4 to 8 Hz, alpha is 8 to 12 Hz, and beta is 13 to 21 Hz, SMR is 12 to 15 Hz, high beta is 20 to 30, and gamma is the 38 to 42. For the depressive conditions, generally what we take into consideration, that is the alpha, beta, and theta. So how to make the comparative analysis of recovery? So there are some specific parameters. When you apply this machine, when you apply or place the electrodes, and you try to read out the findings of the brain activity. So very first thing is the frequency. You can compare the result in terms of the frequency. So if there may be 2 types of the frequency, rhythmic frequency, or there may be arrhythmic and dysrhythmic frequency. Rhythmic frequency is that if there is a constant pattern of the brain wave activity, that is known as the rhythmic frequency. But if there is a unstable kind of frequency pattern which is observed, this could be arrhythmic or dysrhythmic pattern. And if arrhythmic and dysrhythmic pattern is there, so definitely this may be associated with the abnormality within the individual's thinking. Second thing is that is the voltage and amplitude. So amplitude is about how much high amplitude is there. So if the amplitude is suppressed or repressed, so definitely you can say the person must be having some lower kind of brain activities within. And second very important thing is that is the paroxysmal amplitude or paroxysmal voltage. Paroxysmal voltage is where the person has rapid onset of the brain activity, reaching to quite high voltage, and again ending with an average return to the lower voltage activity. And this paroxysmal kind of activity is always associated with the depressive or abnormal kind of activities within the individual. The rest of the two parameters are the morphology and periodicity. Morphology is the like the wave pattern in combination of the frequency as well as the voltage, and periodicity is like one specific kind of wave pattern for how long duration or intermittent event and how that specific pattern is emerging within the activities of the individual. This is the one example of the depressed and normal patient. Just a 5. So if you see the depressive patient, so in the last there is one specific kind of the wave pattern that is about the paroxysmal kind of the wave pattern. So you can just see the difference between normal and depressive protocol. Now in neurofeedback therapy, generally as I discussed with you, we generally focus on the alpha training, beta training and theta training. So this the entire neurofeedback training is based on the Davidson approach. What Davidson says, hypoactivity of the left frontal area would be associated with the depressive disorder. And what we do in the alpha training, generally the study attempt to train the left front side of the brain to be more active than the right. And it has been observed like the left frontal pole is always associated with the negative thinking or lowering mood state. So if you are inducing the excessive brain activity in the left frontal pole, so by inducing the excessive brain activity, you can change the individual from negative thinking to positive thinking, and this is how subsequently the patient can come out from the cognitive triad, like the negative views about the self, negative views about the world and negative views about the future. And this is the one picture of the alpha brainwave training. And one picture is the normal brain and the other one is the depressed brain. Now another very important parameter, that is the theta and beta ratio. So as I discussed,
next speaker, because he is
only 2 minutes.
He is having his own card in the college. So
Okay.
he is waiting.
Okay, just I'm going to wait. So, theta, only 2 slides are there.
Just 2 minutes.
Only 2 slides are there. So theta and beta ratio, the theta activity is generally observed to be like, if the theta activity is there, so definitely this might worsen the depressive state within the individual, and if the beta activity is slower, then again it may be associated with the diminished activity or executive functioning of the part of individual, which is very evident among the depressive patient. So what we do, we generally decrease the activity of the theta wave and increase the activity of the beta wave, and by increasing the activity of beta wave, we can encourage the elevating mood activities within the individual. But at the time of when we are increasing the beta activity, we have to be cautious enough, like this doesn't go beyond the normative value.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really interesting that brain exercise. So now I would like to call upon Dr. Abhijit Pandit from presenting paper on probable determination of level of professional happiness and depression, private sector.
Because examination is going on and he came to know today only, and for his so that he can speak, so we have to disturb sir. Nothing other than that. Because 15 minutes he has already covered. So
the topic which I am chosen is the determination of level of professional happiness, and depression in private sector working professionals in Kolkata. Okay, I wanted to find out, a scale, scale which can measure the level of happiness of the various, professionals in the private sectors of Kolkata only. And, for that, I first developed one, questionnaire with the help of quantitative analysis, and then I just, validated that thing with another set of questionnaire, which I circulated to another group of, respondents. So first, I selected one group of, respondents, who will give me idea about, what are the things which can make them happy. So that particular things were recorded, and then with the help of that, quantitative analysis software, Atlas, Atlas, 8 was used to, get those, types of, parameters which are very important to make the professionals happy. With those, I made a questionnaire, and that was also used, that was, circulated to another second set of, respondents, who gave me responses, and based on that, we have done one analysis with the help of structural equation modeling and with the help of SPSS and Amos package, by which I found out some 4 major pertinent groups which can actually make the professionals happy. So the first study was qualitative analysis using content analysis aimed to identify those factors and variables which can make professionals happy. So I used, I found out 300 active professionals of Kolkata selected by stratified random sampling method, and based on this, a fast questionnaire was developed. So the content analysis was done with the help of Atlas, software, and then the scale validation was done. Then I calculated this prepared set of questionnaire to another respondents. That is the second study. So that was like 400 active professionals. This questionnaire which was developed in study 1 was circulated in those group of second 400 active professionals. And then finally we wanted to make a final scale with the help of structural equation modeling approach using the packages of SPSS and Amos. So these are the relevant literature available, but like specifically in the case of like our Kolkata, there was no such similar study. So in the world, these are the various like contributors which we have contributed to some extent how to measure happiness in the professional world. So you can just please go to these slides. Then methodology I already discussed. So the first study was qualitative analysis. Second study was structural equation modeling development. The question which was actually utilized to get those core areas which can actually make professionals happy. So the thing which was asked to them, what do you need to make you happy in your organization? That was the thing, and from that we have got various responses from the respondent, and then with the help of those we have run the content analysis time. It was simply open-ended question, and then after that these particular steps were followed: data collection, data storage, coding, indexing, system refinement, code relationship, and identifying categories. So for the stages 3, 4, 5, 6, a content analysis software was run. Then these are the content analysis developed is to what is the purpose of content analysis? To analyze and identify variables, determine the encoding rules, determine the category system, check the reliability of coding system, and drawing inference. The software which was used is Atlas TI version 6, and that is a user-friendly version. You can student version is available in the website. Free of cost, it can be run. Okay, so initially like these are the steps which we have followed. Previous slide you can see like we got total around 1710 responses were there, and then out of that we crystallized that to 38 variables which were pertinent in making the professionals happy, and based on those 38 pertinent variables first questionnaire was developed. And this questionnaire developed in the stage 1 was actually circulated to another set of 400 active professionals in the private sector, working professionals of Kolkata, and we found nearly 48% male, 52% female, and 30% of them were the directors. The statistical analysis part, and the later part, previous one was content analysis by Atlas. Now the second part was EFA and exploratory factor analysis and confirmatory factorial analysis were done by IBM SPSS statistics package version 22, which had also Amos. So the goodness of fit of the model was actually checked by GFI index, and that was 0.9, which was considered to be good. Even other parameters were RMSR, means good mean square residual. That was also should come very close to 0.1. That was also found in this analysis. The results are shown. The mean, standard deviation, the descriptive part, descriptive statistics was done on these 38 items. So these were the 38 pertinent items in the questionnaire which was actually circulated. And even the reliability, the convex alpha was also measured. That was 0.84, which was considered to be quite good. And the correlation coefficient, the graphs showing the correlation, that was also considered to be good. The factorial structure, we have got some pertinent factors. Out of those 38 items, we got some 4 major factors. You can check it out. Like the factors F1, F2, F3, F4 were found out. The ones which are in bold are considered to be pertinent. In that particular group 1, F1, you can see I16 will be there, I17, I18, I19, I20. These were all in factor 1. Then another factor 2 we had got I15, I33, I34. In factor 3 we have some previous pages it is there. Previous like I1 to 14 is there. And factor 4 we have got I25, I36, I37, I38. So this we are categorizing these 38 items in 4 major factors. and then the speed plot, this part in the statistical analysis was done. Then finally I made the ACM structural equation modeling, and you can just have a look at that. So these are the four major factors. Like in F1 we had got I06, I11, I12, I13, I14, I16. These were all under F1. Under F2 we had got I5, I9, I10, I15, and so on. So now these are the four major factors which were. This is the the result, the contribution part, which I have done. Like F1, F2, F3, F4. These are the four major factors which were actually identified. F1 is personal development and organizational support can really make professionals happy. Number 2 is recognition and autonomy. Third important factor, good, suitable, healthy work environment, and last one is the social responsibility. These are the four pertinent factors which were crystallized out of those 38, which can actually make the professionals happy. Now, this particular scale can be further developed, can be even implemented in other parts of the country, other parts of the world, and lot of further scope of research is there. So, thank you very much for your patience here.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Actually, I had my exam duty at 1:30, and thanks to Somamitra ma'am, to make the finest arrangement for me and always encourage me and come and participate. Thank you. Thank you,
cheerful.
And wish you all the best. And now I would like to call upon Dr. D. Datta Roy. And you be talking about a very interesting topic like Rabindranath psychotherapy and management of depression.
The father philosopher, Professor Arun Kumar. Without him, we cannot think of Indian Academy of Health Psychology. And I am grateful to Dr. Sanghamitra Sengupta for arranging this conference where I can share my views about Rabindranath psychotherapy. So what is Rabindranath psychotherapy? We have understood many things. We have understood different effects of the medicine. We have understood different neurofeedback techniques, tools. We have understood different phototherapy, etc., and many things. But all of them are basically motivating us to purchase something other than from within. Because everything is within us. Antaru mamo bikoshito karo, antaru taru he. So it is your depression. That depression comes from within. Why do you depend on others? Never. Everything is within you. You can change your own thought process. You can change your own behavioral process. That is the way Rabindranath Tagore tried repeatedly by composition of the different songs to change our thought process, to change our behavioral process. And we are totally forgetting. We are not giving much importance on Gita Gita, but all the dynamics are clearly written in Gita Gita. Let's come to the difference between depression, depressive disorder, and the dysthymia. Depression refers to a mood or emotional state that is marked by feelings of low self-worth or guilt. But depressive disorder is serious medical illness depression is not the serious medical illness, but depressive disorder is a serious medical illness. And dysthymia, that is a persistent depressive disorder that lasts for a long time. A person's moods are generally low for at least 2 years. In case of the depression, we can use the vague depression scale. But in case of the depressive disorder, we have to depend upon the Hamilton Depression Rating Scale or HDRS. Why? Because the clinical observation is important. And in case of the dysthymia, we have to depend upon the Cornell Dysthymia Rating Scale. Depression is the interaction of three things: agent, host, and the environment. During the depression, the patient can report you, that is, what are the agents coming from the environment that create depression. But in case of the depressive disorder, most of the agents, most of the environmental determinants are totally out of memory. And finally, during the dysthymia, all the complaints are related to the body complaints. Okay. Depression affects our awareness window by generating negativity in affect and the behavior. This is the Johari window, I think you know it. Ravindric psychotherapy prevents one from negativity by controlling and transforming the flows across the Murto, Rag and Saraswat layer of consciousness. Okay. Here I like to point out, that is, I have treated many patients suffering from schizophrenia, suffering from obsessive compulsive disorder, and suffering from depression also, with high suicidal desire. And I have observed, that is, only through Rabindra Sangeet, these patients' depression are basically gone. Only through Rabindra, no medication, nothing. Then I am thinking, that is, why does it happen? What's the underlying reason? Then I am trying to think, that is, if I can give much importance on the consciousness instead of the mind itself, if I give much importance on the consciousness, not the unconscious, but only the conscious, then possibly I can treat many patients, not only in the clinical setup, but also in the community setup. Now here you will find the three circles are there. Okay? The first one is the Murto layer. Second one is the Raga layer. Raga layer basically the seat of emotion, affect, etc. And the middle one is the Saraswat layer. And there are three colors. In case of the Murto layer, the color basically grey. In case of Raga layer, different colors are there. But in Saraswat, there is only one, that is the white. Now I am coming to the Ravindric psychotherapy. What is Ravindric psychotherapy? Ravindric psychotherapy refers to the evidence-based, real time. Real time. Why it is real time? Because the patient can himself or herself solve his or her own problem without the clinical setting. Here is one case study. One patient usually stayed within the toilet for 18 hours. 18 hours. Okay. And only through one song, that song is the Rabindra Sangit. The song is like that. Alokeri jharna dharai dhuiye dao. Have you heard? Alokeri jharna dharai dhuiye dao. Apnake lukiye rakha dhulai dhaka. Dhuiye dao. Alokeri jharna dharai dhuiye dao. When I met this patient,
না না ওনার ফোনটাকে পকেট থেকে বার করতে বলো your phone is disturbing
not phone.
Now it's okay.
Okay.
Now it's okay, yeah.
Please give me the alarm so that I can finish. Okay.
phone catch করছে only the sound catch করছে এটা ওনারা
Okay. Now, when I met her first time, I tried to understand her problem, and that problem basically, the patient tried hard to come to the Saraswat layer, but patient could not come. Why? Because the patient felt everywhere is dark. Okay, so in the toilet, everywhere is dark. So what is the solution? Solution is to provide the patient one metaphor. That metaphor is available in Rabindra Sangit. When we say, Alokeri jharna dharai dhuiye dao, আপনাকে লুকিয়ে রাখা ধুলায় ঢাকা ধুইয়ে দাও আলোকের ঝর্ণা ধারায় ধুইয়ে দাও. So this আলোকের ঝর্ণা, that means the fountain of light. When the patient can feel, that is, she is washing herself under the fountain of light. So there is no question of any doubt. Okay. That means without the clinical setting, the patient can solve his or her problem. Okay. The second one, it is object oriented. And the third one is the auto-suggestive. When the patient was telling, that is, let me wash through the fountain of light. So that is the auto-suggestive treatment. And guided by the powerful positive metaphors during the therapeutic, using the therapeutic postulates extracted from the creative works of Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath psychotherapy enhances subjective well-being, it reduces stress and distracts patients from unpleasant symptoms. It assumes that consciousness is composed of three layers, Murto, Rag and Saraswat. Function of therapist is to locate the loci of consciousness. This is very, very vital. Loci of consciousness. its dynamic movement and its determinants. Accordingly, therapist customizes the environment through which service receiver, not the patient, but service receiver, finds a way to enhance the subjective well-being. Some of the determinants of depression in Ravindric psychotherapy. The first one is the labeling self. Second one, rejecting the concept of unbounded consciousness. Most of the time we find that is almost all the psychotherapies they are thinking that is the consciousness should be bounded. This is the desirable and this is the undesirable. But in Ravindric psychotherapy, there is no question of desirable, there is no question of undesirable. You are totally free. Okay? Total freedom. Too much concern over purity and impurity. That causes depression. Resistance to change, loss of consciousness for murta and rag, layer of consciousness. That is another major problem. Too much coloring the rag layer, confusion about saraswat layer of the consciousness. There are some theories of Ravindric psychotherapy. The first theory is basically the bounded and unbounded layers of consciousness, flow theory, cognitive behavior theory, universal value theory, and postulates of Ravindric psychotherapy. So these are the postulates of Ravindric psychotherapy. I have developed these postulates, okay, from the works of Rabindranath Tagore. The first postulate is the consciousness is free floating. If you study Tasher Desh, okay, that is the dance drama of Rabindranath Tagore, you will find almost all the postulates. Second one, it is unbound. Do not label, rather understand others' consciousness. Consciousness is composed of three layers, murta, rag and saraswat. Experience of consciousness is like a journey from incomplete to complete across three layers. Man is the pursuer of newness, man is pursuer of completeness. Searching newness makes man incomplete, that acts as the driver to find out the completeness. Incomplete to complete is a cyclic process. Image characteristics change across layers of consciousness. When the same object, one object is in the murta layer, okay, and your response to that object will be totally different when that particular object comes to the rag layer. Again, your response to the same object will be converted, will be totally changed when that object comes to the saraswat layer. So this layer dynamics can change your perception. Okay. Man has power to customize the environment for change in consciousness layers. So what the patient actually did within the toilet, that is basically the transformation of self. Okay. And that person basically customized own environment. So I am bathing, okay, I am washing myself under what? Under not the tap water, but under the fountain of light. Okay. Murta image has the structure but no affect or the emotion. Rag layer based image is affected by the emotion. Saraswat image indicates harmony of object and environment. Incoming image creates buoyant forces. Here you can find out the relation between Ravindric psychotherapy and the physics. That is the buoyant forces of Archimedes. There will not be any stigma in therapy. These are some of the important postulates of Ravindric psychotherapy. Now, in Ravindric psychotherapy, one important part is the flow. Okay, so this is the way through which we are analyzing the effect of Rabindra Sangeet on the consciousness. How? Usually what we are giving, we are, if it is 5 minutes, please you allow. Okay. Okay. I'll finish very quickly.
No, okay.
I have developed, there is a flow gram. This is the flow gram. Okay, so there is a song. Song is going on and your consciousness changes. So there is two axes. One is the pleasant, another one is the unpleasant. Okay, if the card comes down, that is below the baseline, that means you are feeling unpleasant. But your card upward, that means your feeling is the pleasant. But if your card just at the baseline, that means you are basically the neutral point. So this is the flow theory. I have developed the flow quotient. This is the buoyant forces. This can be saturated. I have developed the flow enclosure, flow association, and this is the just related to the CBT and Rabindic psychotherapy. These are the value theories that I have explored from Rabindra Sangeet, and I have published several papers on value theory. That is a path and goal-oriented value theories. So finally, I like to conclude that depression is within you. You are the reason for depression. You can control your own depression by using Rabindra Sangeet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really a very, very interesting topic. We have never heard about it. A big round of applause to Dr. D. Datta. And now I would like to call upon Ms. Sangamitra Sahu to give the mementos and certificates to our speakers. Now, my mother will be giving memento and certificates to the speakers. About my mother, she is a senior school teacher and now a lifetime devotee of ISKCON. And she has done a lot for us and she is the main energy behind our Sri Healthcare Research International. She has very wonderful motivation and she is always motivating for humanity, for community work and for everything. Because we are doing a community work also from Sri, prenatal education, academic counseling, then breath work, trauma release, right brain activation. We are doing so many things in community work also. Mindfulness, meditation, and everything is motivated by mother. So I have integrated this holistic techniques and this eclectic psychotherapy according to the energy of the client, according to the culture and belief of the client. And these holistic techniques, always my mother is insisting that she is always telling me that the human should be true. What she is feeling or what he is feeling, that should come out. It's not only the theory, it's not only the knowledge. So by her inspiration, this tree has come up, and yeah, my children have supported a lot, my husband has supported a lot, and my co-founder Anil Bairagi has supported a lot to come out up to this. So I would like to, like my mother, to give this memento and certificates to the esteemed speakers. Thank you. Now I am handing over this microphone to Kali Vishwastu. She will announce.
Sir, please sit down.
So I would like to call upon Sri Kashnam Kelkar, sir. So please come.
একটু জায়গা দিন যেতে জায়গা দিন।
এদিকে ঘুরে একটু ঘুরে দেখ।
Now I would like to call upon Dr. Muhammad Ali Khalid. Khalid sir, please come. Pratap Singh.
Sir, Professor Dutta sir, Professor Khalid sir, please join us.
Yeah, that's good. Take one. Yes, I'm happy. Now, Shanta, come. What are these? What is this? Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute.
I would like to call upon Dr. D. Datta Roy. Sir, please.
থাকতে হবে আপনার সাথে আমার সাথে না থাকলে আমার ভাবেই
Anand, please come.
Sir,
Give me phone. Give me.
আমি ঘাট করে আছি আমারটা উঠতে
And I would like to call more people.
Yes, sure.
What we will do is, we have to just select one partner. Just select one partner, everyone. Just select one partner. Select one partner, anyone. Not your wife. Select one partner. This is 1 2 minutes. 1 2 minutes laughter therapy. Just 2 minutes laughter therapy. Just select any one partner, not his or her wife. Any partner, please. Now, what you have to do is partner, any partner. Select any partner. Male or female, any partner. Just you have to tell. Namaskar. You have to tell Namaskar. Namaskar. Then again, Namaskar. Then inhale and just do this. Just like that, inhale, deep and again, inhale and inhale and now, thank you. You want everybody, just tear their eyes. Thank you. And also with a smile, thank you. Thank you.
This is final thank you.
Because we have more.
So we will have our lunch break now and continue with the session post lunch.
Hare Krishna. My name is Sukartiki Radha Devidasi from Mayapur ISKCON, and I came here to attend the course of this depression management, and how I am relating this depression management with Gita, because then we are in depression, it means we have a low vibration, and by reading this Gita the vibration will be higher, and then you can come out from depression. So this is a mantra meditation. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So by this chanting this mantra, you can come out from depression, and you have positive vibrations and positive energy. And later you will listen more things from doctors about this depression management, and this also helps you. These mantras will also help you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.